Hello, everyone. Look at this. Hello, Lisa. How are you? I know you can't, no one can talk. I can see your photographs, some of them like very nice. If you want to ask questions or you want to communicate, just put it into the chat, and that's how we're going to do it. There is the reason why we do this is because on sometimes on sessions like this, we have bot interference. And so to keep this a nice, safe space and keep it in the pure energy of what we're talking about, and to make sure that we're not sort of disrupted, this is how we do it. Towards the end of the session, I will open it up and we will do some readings as well. I've got my tarot cards here. I've already done a nice little kind of opening ceremony in my home, and I want to energetically connect with you as well so that we can do a little work at the end. Because there's no point in me talking at you for 45 minutes if you can't see eventually where I would love you to be able to kind of like have the abilities to do this as well, because that's the point. It's not about me just teaching, it's about practice. But I think we might have a few more people joining, but I want to be aware of your time. Thank you so much for joining on a Sunday and allowing me into your lives for 45 minutes. I'll give you a quick introduction to me. In fact, I'm going to start my little presentation here. So let me get onto this. See if I can get this going. Hang on a minute. And oh, okay. Can everybody see this? Just kind of like give me a little thumbs up. Let me just see this. Okay.
Yeah, we can see your screen.
Okay, great. I actually can't see my chat now, which is good. All right. So, guess what? You are more intuitive than you think. In fact, you're so intuitive, you decided to turn up here on a Sunday morning because you have this little calling. You've had this thing inside you which has been saying, hang on a minute, I feel that I have these abilities, but I really need to explore them. So, over the course of the next 12 weeks, I want to help you, hold your hand, guide you in a safe and secure space where we can awaken your psychic abilities. We will go through a 12-week course, which is very exciting. And it's not just a course where I will sit here and show you slides. This is kind of like my least favorite part of teaching, because I'm more of a yapper and I like to do practical stuff as well. And the reason why I think that doing it in a group as well is because we have like-minded people. So it's basically coming together and finding your tribe. So, for example, like Lisa and Bobby, I don't think you know each other. I could be wrong. You might have shared another lifetime before. Very possible. But what you have is an energetic connection. And what we're going to do in the 12-week course is we're going to meet other people on the path. And we're going to learn together, which is great. It's very exciting. It's my favorite part of doing these courses. So, I'm going to help you develop your psychic and tarot abilities. And you might say to me, but Jen, why do I need to learn them separately? Well, they're not really separate. It's all part of the same thing. But I believe that tarot is the tool. And the psychic ability, because we're going to do that in the first 6 weeks, it sets you up to really dig in deep, to be able to trust your intuition. And your intuition is really about receiving messages, channeling, getting the information, learning to trust all of those stories that you have about what's going on in the world consciously but unconsciously, and being able to translate that into what's happening for other people, being able to read other people. And then once we've worked on our intuition, we use our tarot, which I love. This is actually the Rider Waite deck, as the tool to interpret. And that's why I wanted to do this 12-week course and do it hand in hand. So we do the first 6 weeks of psychic, and then we do the last 6 weeks of tarot. Okay, here's a little bit about me if you want to know about me. So, my name's Jennifer. I go by Jen. I also go by the Moon and Sun if you follow me on social media. Um, and I came up with the Moon and Sun because it's really part of me and it's part of this journey. The sun throwing the light on everything, highlighting things in our life. And then the moon, the unseen, the shadow. And life really is about the light and shade. And so is our journey for Psychic Tarot as well. And those two cards are very prominent in the tarot deck. They're part of the major arcana. Now you're like, Jen, stop talking using crazy terms I've never heard of, major arcana. But all of this will be explained when we start dipping into the tarot. So here's a little bit about me. And also you'll see Mana here as well, who runs the Conscious Leadership Institute. And this course is run through that. And Mana and I met about 5 or 6 years ago, and she's a big part of my story. But before I get into that very important meeting, I always felt that I had psychic abilities. In fact, I made a joke of it. I would do pretend readings for friends when I was growing up, or I'd be just always saying, I can tell something that's going to happen to you, or give me your grandmother's ring. I'm going to read something. I didn't know that that was called psychometry, and that's actually a big part. So I was like stumbling around in the dark, um, feeling that I was pretending or acting out this role. And because I couldn't trust myself, I made a joke of it, and a lot of the time I would sort of like put it into a box, and I wouldn't fully embrace it. And you have to ask yourself, and maybe you're feeling this as well, but it's just like, why would you do that? Why would you not kind of see it as this gift and lean into it? And the problem was because I was scared of it, and not scared because I saw it as like a dark force. I was scared of it because I feared that I was failing. Like I just didn't have what it took. So I went out there and I just pretended. And then for years and years, I would just like, just put it away. But guess what? The calling got louder and louder. And in the last 10 years, I couldn't deny the fact that I had to do this, that this was part of my soul's journey. And also, I thought, oh, tarot and psychicness and mediumship, I'm also a medium as well, it's for other people, it's for mystical people. And you have to be born with it. And, I mean, when you look at me, I don't fit the bill, right? I mean, for many of you who sort of grew up with this kind of idea of a woman with a turban and a crystal ball and everything's got to be dark and mysterious. No, it doesn't. Like there are psychic mediums. There are people wandering around in Whole Foods, just doing their daily stuff. And the best psychic mediums and the best tarot readers know how to manage their skill. I don't think there's anything worse as a psychic medium, and Mana will agree, to be out there in the world not knowing how to manage this gift, manage this skill, and be out shopping the supermarket and getting downloads of somebody who's there buying grapes. And you're like, the grandmother's come through. I've got someone's dad over there. I've got his dead dog behind me. That just sounds chaotic to me. So, what we do in this course, what we do in a lot of the courses and in mediumship as well, is we learn how to manage these skills. We learn to turn it on and learn to turn it off. Because here's the other thing, you also have your lives to live and you have your businesses and your families. So, I want you to be able to treat this space as somewhere where you can, like, I know how to manage it. I have boundaries around my psychic tarot work. And it's about respecting you, respecting spirit, and eventually, when you get into doing the practice, respecting your sitter as well. Also, I found this whole thing confusing and I didn't know where to start. And if I could have knocked on the door of Manners Institute many years ago, I would have been like, oh, thank God. There are people here who are just like me, people who want to learn, people who need the skills, someone who can make sense of it. And she passed that on to me. as well. So I'm able to now be here after years of studying and practice and running my own business and offer that to you as well. I want to help you feel your strength, your power, and your ability to do what you want with this wonderful skill set. You know, some of you might be just using it for personal reasons. You might be having sort of like intuition about certain events that are coming up in your life, or you've got questions that you want to know more of. And the beautiful thing about this course is that it allows you to have more self-knowledge. But ultimately, it's about giving you trust in those messages, in those feelings, and not just thinking that you're making it up. And then taking it a step further to actually have the tool, which I use every single day, not just for my clients, but for myself. Like if I've got something on my mind, I mean, right now I'm selling my house and it's an absolute nightmare. And I have the ability to dip in every day. Okay. And it's very practical, you know? It's like I need to know what's going on in the negotiation situation and I'll do a three-card spread. And you know what it does? It just shines the spotlight on what is going on around me energetically. And that is an incredible tool. That is, I mean, that's just worth so much to me. And then when I do readings for clients, and also, the readings aren't always about what you think they might be. In fact, they're mostly about very practical stuff, about career. How do I build my business? Where do I need to move to? Where should I invest my money? Talk to me about my financial landscape. Because these are real life questions, and we have a tool that can give us the answers and the insights. And for a lot of people, that's such a relief. When I do readings for people and I ask for some feedback, I get the feedback is often like, that was very positive, and I feel secure now. I feel that I have a blueprint to go ahead and move forward in my life and my business. So I'm rambling quite a lot, aren't I? But that's because I really like to talk. And when we're in our lovely class, which starts next week, you also will get a chance to talk as well. So the truth is about intuition, it isn't a gift. Some people believe they are born with it, but it's a skill. If you have the inklings that you have intuitive power, intuitive strength. That's wonderful. But we need to know how to harness it. As I said, like, for example, being a medium, I don't want to be bombarded by a million spirits when I go out for dinner. So it's the same with psychicness and the same with using tarot as a tool. It's about learning how to turn it off, turn it on, invite it in, make sense of the messages that you're getting, and use it in your life. But make it work for you. And that's what this whole thing is really about. The other thing is, you're more intuitive than you know, because, I mean, first of all, you're here in this class and you're already using it every day. You know, you might have, this happens to me a lot. I'll have business meetings, and a lot of what we do now is on Zoom. And I know when everyone pops up in that window, I'm already intuitively tuned into people, good and bad. And it can be a great tool for guidance. You have this feeling of like knowing about people and their energy. You can do energy reads. So, and I'm going to show you how to do that. So the next 12 weeks will really be, especially in the first 6 weeks, we'll learn how to develop our psychic abilities. We'll go through how to channel. I will talk to you about all the clairs. You might say to me, Jen, what are you talking about? What are clairs? Clairs are ways of, basically, clair is the French word for clear. And there are different clairs which allow us to channel intuition. So you must have heard of clairvoyance, the ability to see. So if your intuition comes to you, and we're going to do an exercise in a minute as well, If you are seeing things in your mind, symbols, places, that's a different way of channeling energy to some psychics who are more clairaudient. And clairaudience is about hearing things. So when you're channeling, you might hear the name of someone or a place or a sound. So, for example, I'd be doing a reading for you and I might hear a bell. And that bell might be something to do with your childhood, like a school bell, or it might be a doorbell. And I will channel that because I'm hearing it. It will come into the psychic story. The other thing is we also might have a claircognizance, which is something that I use very strongly as a psychic. I have this ability to, it's about knowing. It's about having this absolutely trusted feeling of this is the download I'm get. I know that this event next week is going to happen. I know that this is part of your life. And I will combine the clairs. I might have clairvoyance, I might have clairaudience, and I will combine all the clairs to give you your psychic reading. I'm basically reading your energy in the here and now. And that's the difference between psychic ability and, say, mediumship. Mediumship is about connecting with your loved ones in spirit, whereas I'm connecting with you and I'm reading your energy right now and giving you guidance. So why do people feel blocked? Why have you been down this road and thought, do you know what? I feel I'm getting this download, but it stops, or I feel I'm only getting a taste of it. And that's because we don't trust ourselves. That's because we stop listening to the channel and start listening to our rational thoughts and the ego. And we start questioning things because we want to, as humans, we need to make sense of things. And a lot of the reason why we can't develop this skill is because we block ourselves. We're our own worst enemies in a way. And I think this is the biggest roadblock, to be quite honest, in this whole journey, is about trust. We overthink everything. The messages that you do channel, you don't trust them. You think you're making it up. This is with working with students a lot of the time. And I did a full 12-week course on psychic development last year. And I had some very talented people in the group. But the thing is, they would get the messages and then they would throw them out the window because they were like, oh, I'm making that up. I don't feel that's the truth. And here's the other thing. It's like it really isn't your job to question what comes through when you're channeling information. Once you've mastered the skill of going into a meditation and you've opened up the channel to communicate and you're trusting however you receive that intuition, whether it's claircognizance, clairaudience, um, clairsentience, feeling, emotion, reading that from a person, your ability to then understand that that is the truth and letting it flow and not having the fear that you're wrong or that you're making it up. And also looking on, as it says on this slide, for perfect answers. It's not your job to give your client, your sitter, your friend who's asking you for help perfect answers. You're giving them what you are channeling. And how you're like, how do we overcome that then, Jen? How do we do that? How do I stop overthinking? We do it through a lot of group work, actually. Like when we start the course, we will do a lot of practice exercise. I mean, if I was going to be your swimming teacher, for example, I'm not just going to throw you in the deep end and say, Lisa, do the breaststroke. I'm not going to do that. You might survive for the first 1 minute, but then you might start drowning. I'm not going to let you drown in these classes. I'm not going to let you finish our sessions and walk away and go, I feel unsupported. I don't know if I can do that. I say this to everybody who takes the class as well. The 2 hours that we do every week together is magical because we have the connection, we have the support of all the students in the group, and we do a lot of practice sessions as well outside of those 2 hours because it's not just about the training, it's about what you choose to do outside of that work. And it is a choice. And we will do practice sessions. We need to be able to feel comfortable doing a reading for somebody. So the first couple of weeks we'll be reading each other. And then I also do a lot of readings because I also like to show people how I do it. And so outside of the course, we might do a practice session every single week if everyone can make it. And these are honestly vital because this is where you get to kind of like get your confidence. Now, I know most of my students in the psychic course last year were terrified when we were like, okay, we've got all the skills now. We've got a sitter coming in. They're coming in, and everybody would just freeze up. It's because that kind of like, I don't want to disappoint them. I don't want to tell them something that's wrong. And it's just like, it does take time. It does take time. And I know when I was a newer psychic as well, and I would do a meditation, I'd go into the session and I'd write stuff down. And that's another thing. We'll get into kind of like how we personally download information as well. But when I go into a meditation, I will write down what I'm channeling. I won't ask any questions. I will just receive. Again, as I said, claircognizance, this knowing. So, for example, like Brenda, I might just kind of like do a session for you and I'll download all this information and then you'll pop up on my screen or in person. And then I might panic because I'll be like, do you know what? What I wrote down, I'm now looking at her and it doesn't make any sense. And now I'm questioning myself and now I'm blocking myself. And that energetic, beautiful connection between myself and Brenda, I will sabotage that because I'm going to overthink it and I'm not going to be free and open. And I'm not going to tell her something like, when you were 12, actually, this is not true, but maybe it is, but like, your dream at 12 when you wanted to be a dancer and your mother said that wasn't going to happen for you, that would come up. And I would sort of look at you. I mean, you may be a dancer actually in real life. And I would stop myself from telling you that information because I am deciding, my ego jumps in and I'm not trusting the channel. I've learned just to tell you everything I receive. And I think the secret to doing this work, the secret to enjoying having these skills is to just be open. Remember, you're just the vessel, and the course teaches you to be an open vessel and to receive. And a lot of us have problems receiving anyway, just in our normal daily lives. But I want to tell you everything. And when I hold back and I don't give you that information, I'm not giving you what you've come for. There have been several readings years and years ago when I wrote things down and I'm like, oh, I'm not going to say that because I don't know if it's true. I'm not going to tell her that her dad, and he's in the Midwest. How would he have a fishing boat? How would he go fishing? Like, because my brain is thinking he's nowhere near water. So I'm trying to analytically rationalize that, and I threw it out. And we talked about her father, and she's like, "Do you know what? He grew up fishing. His father was a fisherman. He had a boat in Florida that he would go out to every 6 weeks." And I just remember thinking, why didn't I say it? Why didn't I say it? Because I didn't trust myself. And during this course, because I've gone through it, I'm going to give you all those very important things that you need to lean into to go, I will always be open. I will always trust. I will be the channel. And it really is an exciting journey. It really is. All right. We are going to try something together. I'm not going to do a psychic reading, but I just want you to try something with me. So let's take a moment. Remember, you don't need to get this right because I've been telling you there are no right answers here. You just need to try something with me, okay? So I'm going to ask everybody to close their eyes. Close your eyes. Take a slow breath in and out. That's it. Just let everything go. Just be nice and calm. Take that nice breath in. Take that nice breath out. Now I want you to imagine that you are standing somewhere. Don't force it. Just notice. What do you see around you? Take a moment to observe. Is it indoors or is it outdoors? Just drink it in. Just look around. Now, what colors stand out to you the most? What can you see? And as you're scanning this beautiful place, is there anything or anybody there? Who do you see? What do you notice? And what are you feeling right now in this place? Are you feeling anxious? Does it make you feel calm? Does it make you feel curious? Does this feel like somewhere that you've been before? Take one final deep breath. Remember all those thoughts and feelings and things that you've seen. And slowly open your eyes. I like to do those exercises because even in that small moment, some of you saw something very clearly. Some of you felt something very clearly. And some of you might think you just made it all up. But the first thing that came in, that's your intuition. And I want you to understand that even taking that small moment in this class right now, you're dipping into something. You're there. And we need to make sense together of how we make sense of that, how and what that means. And it's really exciting. It's an exciting journey. So we're going to do more of that. We're going to start with the clairs. We're going to work through how to bring in, understand that psychic ability. We're going to do lots of practice in that first 6 weeks. We're going to do lots and lots of exercises. We're going to do meditations. I'm going to teach you the tools of how to get into a meditation and visualize. We're going to do readings for people. And then from week 6 to 12, we're going to switch over to the tarot. And the reason why I do it this way is because we set up the skills for psychic development and then we use the tarot as a tool. We're not just going to memorize the 78 cards here. Some of you might use tarot anyway. You might be quite familiar with it. It's not going to be like 6 weeks of what does the Page of Wands mean? What does what's this one? Seven of Pentacles mean? You do need to know what the cards mean, absolutely. But really, this journey is about using your intuition, your psychic abilities to tell the story of what comes up in the cards. And many of you have had tarot readings, I know. And when I speak to clients, many of them have had tarot readings as well. But the difference in tarot readers are people who just tell you what the card means, but not relating it to their story, to their individual psychic download as well. I did a reading yesterday, and I start with the Celtic Cross, which is a very well-known reading, and I've done it. I think I've done it for you, Lisa, a couple of times. And it's 10 cards, and I always see it as the blueprint. It's for me, it's like it's the master reading. It's like if we want to take a problem in life or a situation and we need to know what's going on, it's the spread that you see from all angles. And I get so excited doing tarot as well and psychic. I love psychic. But I'm always like, what is this journey going to reveal? Like, I don't know. The minute we turn over the first card, I'm like, this is the situation right now. And I'm not just kind of reading that card cold. I am energetically connecting with my sitter. I will read their energy. I will read the fact that they have this quest to find out. Very few people come to me for a reading because it's just a bit of fun. We're using it as a tool to really move our lives forward, move the needle on things that are causing us pain, agony, torment. We need answers. And having that lovely 6 weeks of psychic development and then turning it into something practical with the tarot cards and learning how to do readings, it's so powerful. It really is powerful. And I also feel that a lot of clients, a lot of people love the tarot because it's so decorative. It's so, it makes sense. A lot of people, when we're doing psychic readings, they love it, but a lot of people need to see something as well. I think it's just human nature. We love to kind of like see these colorful cards. Um, Also, in the 6 weeks, we will dip into how to read varying spreads. I mean, it's a short period of time, 6 weeks. And I'll do the most powerful lessons in tarot for you and in psychic because I want you to walk out of this 12-week course and be able to use it as a stepping stone into either doing more studying or actually you might already be a psychic tarot reader and using it as a refresher or a tool to kind of sharpen your skills. I mean, it never surprises me as well when people turn up for the courses and they're like, I'm already running my business. I've been doing this for 2 or 3 years, but I want to learn a different skill set. I want a refresher. Sometimes it's about people have a moment of they wobble. They're like, I feel I'm losing it. And it's not, you're not losing it. These skills are forever. It really is up to you to just keep going and utilizing them. So, are you ready to trust yourself to deepen your psychic abilities and learn the tools of tarot? Um, I think you are. I'm going to stop this. I've missed all the chat because um my my slides were in the way, so I've missed all of that. Okay,
I
God,
took care of it.
okay, thanks, Mana. Mana's been doing this brilliantly, thank you. So I would love to answer any questions. Let's just have a little look here. What have we got? You are a dancer and a teacher. Oh my goodness, Bobby, how did I know that? Did I trust myself when I was doing my reading on you? You see, that's what it is. And I want you to get into that position of being able to say stuff like that. Classes begin next week. So who's got some questions for me so I can do some card pulls for you? I already did a card pull on this tarot session and psychic session before I got in here. I did one for myself. So I was like, what do I need to know? And the strength card came up, but it was reversed. And it was a reminder to me, remember, you're here because this is important. You are stronger than you think. And that's a really important piece of information to know as well. Here's the other thing about my classes as well. I like to have some fun. Um, and I like to make it real. So, and I like interaction. So I'm not just going to talk at you. This is probably like the most I've talked at people for a very long time, unless I'm doing like a presentation on something. So I like feedback. I like conversation. I like to hear about what's gone on in your week. And each week we'll get together and you'll be like, last week I did a reading for a friend and this came up. Because the more we chat together and learn together, number one, you will feel relaxed. Number two, your confidence will grow. And number three, um, you will just kind of like, you'll start to own that title that I'm a psychic. I do tarot. Okay, what are we, where's your next vacation? What can you predict? Oh, hang on a minute. What's going on okay, is that a question? That's okay. If you can give me your question, Mirage, I can answer. Okay. There's some, you're talking about the Job Centre Plus. Do you work there? Are you looking to move? Anyway, uh, come back with me. Okay, Bobby, I'd like to know about my career path and romantic intimate partner. Am I going to find my person sooner or later? Okay, let's do that. Let's find out. Brenda. Let's find out what Brenda needs to know right now about her love life, about finding her romantic, I like the way you said intimate partner. Let's see where Brenda needs to look right now for her greatest and higher good. Okay. What does, gosh, well, Brenda, the first thing I get when I'm just even shuffling the cards is you've got very high standards. You're a very picky lady, as you should be. But are you being too unrealistic? Are you looking for the 27 things on your list to all align before you even decide that this person is worthy of your time? Right, let's have a little look. I'm going to do a 3 card spread for you, and I'll hold the cards up for you as well so you can see. Now, the 3 card spread is great because it really distills the issue and it gives you some very practical advice. I'm just going to turn them over. Interesting, very interesting. I think there's some unfinished business in love. You've got the 8 of Cups here. And the 8 of Cups talks about, Cups is about love and emotions. And there's unfinished business here with a previous love and previous relationship. And the feeling is, and you can reply in the chat as well, just tell me like if any of this resonates with you. It doesn't feel very apparent to you, the fact that this is still very deeply rooted in your heart. There's a feeling of the one that got away, or a pining, an inability to move on 100% from a previous relationship. And I feel that that is what really is holding you back big time when you're pursuing any new relationship. Um, yeah, it feels very kind of like you're still entangled. And this could be a karmic relationship as well, where you have not really 100% separated, or the ex that you keep going back to, whether or not physically you keep going back to meet with them, or emotionally they still hold a place in your heart. So, this really is a message to you that you need to resolve those feelings before you make space for anybody new in your life. So, the journey to your romantic success starts with you. It's about packaging up the unfinished business, getting ready to literally open the door, giving yourself permission to start again. Yeah, toxic and abusive, but you've been intentional and working on yourself for the last 3 years. Yes, That's very true. But the layers are still there. That's the other thing, is like we can do the work and you're working through it right now, but you do have to take the final step into closing the door and moving ahead. And until you kind of clear the debris, you cannot accept anybody new into your life. Let's see what the other cards are saying as well. We have the moon, and the moon typically, when it's this way up, is about illusion and it's about not being able to see things. And this really relates to the fact that you are trying to make sense of things, that you are trying to turn the lights on in the shadow parts of your love life and making sense to move into a space where you feel free. And it's going well. It is going well. You are doing the work, you are helping yourself. But I feel that there's like that just one more hurdle that you need to get through. And that really is like kissing goodbye to it, doing it, trusting that this person that you're going to meet, and you are going to meet them, because I'm going to flip the next card and you're going to see this, is going to happen. You have to just like push forward, let go, because, my darling, you have the King of Cups. And the King of Cups talks about a loving, compassionate person who is there ready to give you the love that you deserve. Now, this is very, very exciting for you because this is everything that you've been manifesting over the past few years. This is the total opposite to the relationship and the partner that you've had before. This is somebody kind, nurturing, ready to treat you how you need to be treated. This is love how you've imagined it. So that is a beautiful kind of ending to this journey. And I'm going to show you the cards again. So we have inability to let go. We have going through your shadow work, getting prepared. And the payoff is openness, meeting this person. And they will meet you in such a beautiful way, in such a heartfelt way. So I hope that helped. Best practices for this next week with a superstellium in Aries, obstacles and opportunities. I mean, you're more of an astrologer than I am, but yeah, I definitely look at the planets when I'm doing anything important. Um, I know the other day Mars was in Aries, and boy, that was intense. There was a lot of arguments, a lot of frustrations. Um, Okay, let's just see what's coming up. Okay, let's do a quick one. Uh, let's do something for Lisa. Okay, what obstacles and opportunities are coming up next week with the superstellium in Aries? We're going to do this for Lisa. Let's look at what's coming up for Lisa next week. I know you've got a big old week coming up, haven't you? So let's just do a very quick. All right, okay. Lisa, let's just do a quick check-in for you. All right. Okay, business, business, business. Thank you, Mana. Okay, the good news is all that worry, all that stress is coming to an end. You have to release it. You have had sleepless nights. I know you have because I know you anyway. But that kind of like that, you're the worst offender of that, by the way. So sleepless nights are going to come to an end. That's the good news. They're going to come to an end because you're going to do what you do best, my darling, is strategize. You have the Queen of Swords. You are going to lean into your analytical senses. You have the thought processes. You have the ability to overcome anything next week. This is your power source, is the fact that your brain is so sharp, and that will translate into your communication. So you definitely, definitely have to lean in on that. And all of those people around you, I know that you and I have had this card before with the Emperor, that kind of like toxic power, that kind of, there's a lot of male energy. And I know that's your world anyway. fighting against that. But that kind of like that is going to be released. You are going to circumnavigate any of those obstacles, any of those issues that are going to come up. You have got this superpower of being able to talk and think your way around it. Guess what though? You need a bloody good night's sleep. So in order to perform, you need to like de-stress. Well, Mana will tell you that if you wake up around 3:30, you're already in the psychic realm because that's the kind of when you get your downloads. That's when you wake up and you're like, I'm here. This woman here gets up at 4 o'clock in the morning, meditates, does all her psychic work at that time. What time do I go to bed? It all depends. I'm a night owl, so I do my best work at night. If I could do tarot readings at 11 o'clock at night, I would love it. Um, so here's the thing. You can tell I love doing this work. You can tell that I will tap into your energy and I can't even see you moving around, hear your voice. I don't need to do any of that because we have an energetic connection. I'm going to teach you how to read these, use your intuition, harness the psychic abilities. We'll do it over 12 weeks. We'll have a lot of fun. And join me. We start next week. All right. I think we're done. Mana, is there anything else? Do you want to?
Yeah, I am going to drop an email in the chat for anyone who needs a payment plan. Reach out to us. Reach out to us. It's Kim at clius.org. And let's make this work. It's going to be fun. 12 weeks. I do want to mention two other things really quickly. So once you go through the psychic and tarot 12 weeks, it kind of opens you up to so many other things that you can study. You could do a complete tarot mastery, or you could do a complete psychic training or mediumship. There's so many different things that you can step into after this one. This is really foundational. So I'm excited for this. And then about boundaries, next week, next Sunday, we are doing a free workshop on energetic boundaries, just because I think it was Lisa, you asked about protection. So come on in. It's going to be from 12 p.m. to 1:30 p.m. Sunday, April 19th. Yes, April 19th. And we will show you how to create energetic boundaries the way we do in psychic mediumship. So the link is, I'm going to put the link there for the workshop, for the free workshop from next week. And then once again, if you go on the CLI website under group certifications, you'll see the psychic tarot class listed. So that's the free workshop. And while you guys are still here, let me just put the link, the direct link to uh, Jen's upcoming class. It starts on Saturday. There you go. It's all in the chat.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
All right. See you later. Have a
Bye.
lovely Sunday. Take care.